Bonjour Year 9, welcome to Lesson 5 of the spring term and your home learning. And today you're looking at parler une langue étrangère, speaking a foreign language again. And here's a list of the equipment you'll need to get ready before the lesson. Your French exercise book, a pen and a ruler, and your Module 3 Knowledge Organizer on class charts. That can be open in a tab. Thank you for uploading all your work onto class charts. Now, I just want to speak to you a little bit about this. Some of you are just uploading 1 or 2 tasks. I want to see evidence of all the work you've completed for every task. I want you to put down your work in a bright room, take a photo of everything you've done at the end of that lesson, including Quizlet activities that you've taken a photo of, and anything you may do languages online or elsewhere. I want to see all of your completed work. The second part, I want you to only follow the indicated time for completion for each activity. If I've set a task that is too long, after the time indicated, you must move on to the next activity. I want to see at least all of the activities shown in your books when you take your photos, please. If you do have any questions, please email me about any of the activities in this lesson, and here's my email address. As always in class, I want you to write down the date in French for me, and this can be found on class charts. I want you to neatly underline the date in French and write down the title vouloir et pouvoir, to want and to be able to, 2 verbs there. Neatly underline the date and the title as well, please. And then write down the objective, l'objectif, which is to learn how to use the verbs vouloir and pouvoir in French. Pause to do that now. Press play when you're ready to do the do now activity. Your do now activity should take no more than 5 minutes. I want you to translate the following sentences into French, and these are in your book, and this is the previous 2 lessons where you'll be able to find these. Pause to get that ready and press play when you're ready to check your answers. Numéro 1. Si tu veux être mécanicien, parler une langue étrangère est un plus. Okay, so here, make sure you've got your accents on être, mécanicien, and the 2 on étrangère. And étrangère is quite difficult, so make sure you pause and you really take time over the spelling and accents there as well, as they're in different directions. 2. Si on veut être commercial, parler une langue étrangère est essentiel. Again, make sure you've got your accents on être and étrangère. 3. Si on parle une langue étrangère, on peut travailler dans un autre pays. And 4. Si tu parles une langue étrangère, tu peux voyager. Okay, on number 3 also, the word travailler is quite a tricky one. So when you do pause to check your answers, make sure you've got that spelled correctly. Okay, tick if it's all correct or make any changes you need to before I pass you on to Mr Bolis, who's going to teach the rest of the lesson.
So for this lesson, we are going to talk about 2 verbs, to want and to be able to. So let's start with to want. And in French, it's vouloir. Now, vouloir is called a modal verb, and it is used to express the idea of want or wish. Like, I want to go to the cinema, or I wish to go to the cinema. In French, it's exactly the same word. It is used together with the infinitive. Now remember, infinitive, we talked about that in class, and it's a verb ending in either er or ir or re. So it is used together with the infinitive to talk about what people want to do. Here is an example in front of you. So to want to play football, which is vouloir jouer au foot. If you look at the first line, it's je veux jouer au foot. Then underneath, tu veux jouer au foot. Then il, elle, on veut jouer au foot. Then nous voulons, vous voulez, ils, elles veulent. The first thing to notice is that the for the three first boxes is pronounced exactly the same, but either ending in an X or in a T. Then you've got voulons ending ONS, voulez ending EZ, and then veulent ending ENT. So what we're going to do now, I want you to repeat after me the French that I'm about to say. Je veux jouer au foot. Tu veux jouer au foot. Il, elle, on veut jouer au foot. Nous voulons jouer au foot. Vous voulez jouer au foot. Ils, elles veulent jouer au foot. Excellent work, Year 9. So what I want you to do now, I want you to copy everything that is in front of you on your screen in your exercise book. So I need you to press pause and then press play when you're ready to continue. Before we move on, one more thing I want to mention is that, as you can see, vouloir is followed by an infinitive, in that case jouer. If you have a look at your notes from last lesson and the sentence builder in particular, vouloir was followed by either être, travailler, découvrir, and trouver. All of these words are infinitives. So now is the time to practice vouloir. And if you follow the link on class charts from Quizlet, I want you to complete the learn and write activities. Finally, when you have finished after those 10 minutes, I want you to complete the test activity and send me a screenshot of your score page. Now to do that, if you look at your keyboard, there's a key that reads print screen. Now if you press it once when you're on your Quizlet page with your score, it's going to take a copy of your screen. And then if you open a Word document, you can then paste it as it is on the Word document. So if you right click and click paste, or if you use Ctrl V, you can have it on a Word document. Then format it a bit so it looks nice, save that Word document, and then upload it on class charts. You may want to also put on that Word document any pictures from today's lesson, so that me, or the teacher that normally teaches you, can see all your work on one Word document. And that's the best way to do it. So press pause. You've got 10 minutes left to complete the Quizlet, and then press play again when you're ready to continue. Let's do a bit more practice exercising with vouloir. What I want you to do, I'm going to show you a few sentences, and I want you to choose the correct form of vouloir. Then translate the sentences into English. Here is an example. Tu veux, indiqué in an X, or veux, indiqué in a T, trouver un bon emploi. Now the answer is veux, indiqué in an X, and that means you want to find a good job. 6 sentences to do. Write down numbers 1 to 6 in your exercise book. Choose the correct form of vouloir. Translate the sentence into English. If you're a bit stuck, just move on to the next sentence. You have 5 minutes to do that. After 5 minutes, press play to see the correction, whether you finished or not. So here is the correction to your work. Numéro 1, elle veut jouer du piano, and the veut was the one ending in a T. And that means she wants to play the piano. 2. Nous voulons aller au cinéma. And that means we want to go to the cinema. 3. Je veux, ending in an X, sortir. I want to go out. 4. Vous voulez rester à la maison. You want to stay at home. 5. On veut visiter le château. One wants to visit the castle, and that was veut ending in a T. 6. Ils veulent être directeurs de magasin. And that means they want to be shop manager. You can now press pause, check your work, and then press play again for the next activity. Let's do a second practice exercise with vouloir. And this time, I want you to translate the following sentences into French using the correct form of vouloir. Here is an example. You want to find a good job. Tu veux trouver un bon emploi. You've got 6 sentences on your screen in front of you. The vocabulary is from the previous lesson. So feel free to refer to your sentence builder from the previous lesson to complete this exercise. You can now press pause, and after 5 minutes, press play again to see the correction, or earlier if you finished earlier. Here is the correction. We want to be pilots. Nous voulons être pilotes. Now do not forget to put an S at the end of pilote because it's more than one person. 2. Je veux travailler dans un autre pays. Pays, double check the spelling, it's got a Y and an S. And veux, of course, ends in an X. 3. Vous voulez découvrir le monde. Voulez, ending EZ. 4. On veut parler une langue étrangère. Double check the spelling of étrangère, it's not an easy word to spell. 5. Elles veulent rencontrer des personnes intéressantes. Once again, check your spelling. You can now press pause and press play when you've checked all your work. So we have now finished with vouloir. Let's have a look at pouvoir. Pouvoir is a modal verb used to express the idea of can or being able to do something. Same as vouloir, it is used together with the infinitive. And they are verbs ending in ER, IR, and RE. And they are used to talk about what people can do. Here is an example. Pouvoir être ingénieur. Je peux être ingénieur. Tu peux être ingénieur. Il, elle, on peut être ingénieur. Nous pouvons être ingénieurs. Vous pouvez être ingénieur. Ils, elles peuvent être ingénieurs. So, now is the time for you to repeat after me and work on your pronunciation. Je peux être ingénieur. Tu peux être ingénieur. Il, elle, on peut être ingénieur. Nous pouvons être ingénieurs. Vous pouvez être ingénieur. Ils, elles peuvent être ingénieurs. Good work, Year 9. So what I want you to do now, I want you to copy what's on your screen in front of you, starting with pouvoir is a modal verb and ending with a full grid copied in your exercise book, please. You can now press pause and press play when you're ready to continue. So as you can see, pouvoir is followed by an infinitive, être in that case. Now if you look at your notes from last lesson, pouvoir was followed by voyager, travailler, rencontrer, and discuter. All of these being infinitives. So let's do some practice with pouvoir using Quizlet. Once again, you've got a link on class charts, or you may want to actually log in onto your Quizlet account if that's easier and do the pouvoir exercise from there. Complete the activities, learn and write, and finally complete the test activity and send me a screenshot of your score page. Once again, if you press print screen on your keyboard, then copy it on a Word document or on a PowerPoint or however you want to copy it on, and then include it as part of your documents for this lesson. That will make things much easier for you. You can now press pause and press play when you spend 10 minutes on Quizlet. So let's do some practice activities on pouvoir. Choose the correct form of pouvoir and translate the sentences into English. Here is an example. Tu peux trouver un bon emploi. And the correct form was peut, ending in an X, and that means you can find a good job. Here are the 6 sentences I want you to work on. Press pause, and then press play again when you're ready for the correction. Here is the correction to your work. First sentence. Nous pouvons jouer du piano. We can play the piano. 2. Je peux, ending in an X, faire mes devoirs. I can do my homework. 3. Vous pouvez, IZ, aller au cinéma. You can go to the cinema. You being plural, of course. 4. Elles peuvent rester à la maison. They can stay at home. 5. On peut, ending in a T, visiter le château. I can visit the castle. Or you can visit the castle. 6. Il peut être directeur de magasin. He can be a shop manager. Give yourself a tick for each correct answer. Take correction of the ones you didn't get right. And then press play again to carry on with the lesson. One more practice activity with pouvoir. This time, I want you to translate the following sentences into French using the correct form of pouvoir. Here is an example. You can find a good job. Tu veux trouver un bon emploi. 6 sentences for each to translate. You can now press pause and then press play again when you're ready to see the correction. Here are the 6 sentences you had to translate. Numéro 1, il peut être pilote. 2, nous pouvons travailler dans un autre pays. 3, je peux discuter avec les gens. 4, vous pouvez découvrir le monde. 5, on peut parler une langue étrangère. 6, elles peuvent rencontrer des personnes différentes. Press pause, check all your work, check for accents, check that you didn't miss a word, and for endings of peut ending in an X or a T. And then press play to carry on with the lesson.
Fantastic work today, Year 9. Really well done. Please remember to upload pictures of all your work onto class charts, including the Quizlet activities that you've done. All of them, please. I'd like to see the photos. Merci. Au revoir.